Public smoking was once a common and widely accepted practice in Britain. Smoking was prevalent in various public spaces, including pubs. Smoking also occurred on public transportation, such as buses. Workplaces were another common location where smoking was permitted. These images reflect a time when the health risks of smoking were less understood or disregarded. The legislation introduces a ban on smoking in enclosed public places. The primary aim of the smoking ban is to protect non-smokers from the harmful effects of secondhand smoke. This includes reducing exposure to carcinogens and other toxins present in tobacco smoke. The ban typically applies to a wide range of indoor areas accessible to the public. Enforcement of the ban is intended to improve public health and create a safer environment for all. Smoking in prohibited public areas results in penalties. The primary penalty for public smoking is typically a monetary fine. The amount of the fine varies depending on the jurisdiction and specific location. Enforcement of public smoking bans is carried out by designated authorities. Consistent enforcement is essential to ensure compliance with public smoking laws. During the Industrial Revolution, child labor was widespread in factories and mines. Children often worked long hours under dangerous conditions. They performed tasks that were hazardous and detrimental to their health. The prevalence of child labor reflected the economic pressures of the time. Child labor laws establish legal restrictions on the employment of children. These laws commonly include specifying minimum age requirements for employment. They also regulate the permissible working hours for young employees. The primary goal is to protect children from exploitation and hazardous work conditions. These regulations help ensure children's access to education and healthy development. Employing children illegally carries significant legal consequences. These consequences are designed to deter child labor and protect children's rights. One common penalty is the imposition of substantial fines on the employer. The amount of the fine typically depends on the severity and duration of the violation. In more serious cases, employers may face imprisonment. The length of imprisonment can vary based on the jurisdiction and the specifics of the case. Cockfighting was a popular blood sport in many cultures throughout history. Historical depictions of cockfighting can be found in various forms of art and literature. The sport involved placing two roosters in a ring to fight, often to the death. Cockfighting events were often associated with gambling and social gatherings. Certain breeds of roosters were specifically bred for their fighting abilities. While historically widespread, cockfighting is now illegal in many countries due to animal cruelty concerns. Animal welfare legislation aims to protect animals from cruelty and mistreatment. Cockfighting is a practice where roosters are pitted against each other in a fight to the death or serious injury. This practice is widely considered inhumane due to the intentional infliction of harm. Animal welfare acts often specifically prohibit cockfighting due to its inherent cruelty. The prohibition aims to prevent animal suffering and promote ethical treatment. Such prohibitions reflect a societal value of protecting animals from unnecessary harm. Participating in or organizing cockfights can result in legal repercussions. These repercussions may include financial penalties, such as fines. In some jurisdictions, jail time may also be imposed as a punishment. The severity of the penalties can vary depending on the specific laws and regulations in place. Therefore, engaging in cockfighting carries significant legal risks. Bear baiting was a form of entertainment popular in Britain for several centuries. It typically involved chaining a bear to a post in a pit or arena. Dogs were then set loose to attack the bear, while spectators placed bets on the outcome. Bear baiting was eventually outlawed in Britain in 1835 due to animal cruelty concerns. The Cruelty to Animals Act marked a significant legal change. It specifically outlawed bear baiting, a popular but brutal blood sport. The act also targeted other forms of animal cruelty prevalent at the time. This legislation aimed to protect animals from unnecessary suffering. It represented an early step in the development of animal welfare laws. The act set a precedent for future animal protection measures. Animal cruelty is defined as actions or inactions that cause unnecessary pain or suffering to animals. Engaging in animal cruelty can lead to severe legal consequences. Penalties often include fines, which can vary significantly based on the severity of the offense. Jail time is another potential consequence, with longer sentences for more egregious acts of cruelty. In some jurisdictions, animal abusers may also face psychological evaluations and mandatory counseling. Convictions for animal cruelty can result in a permanent ban on owning animals in the future. Public executions historically served as both punishment and public spectacle. These events were intentionally public to deter crime through fear. They often involved elaborate rituals and displays of power. The condemned were typically subjected to various forms of capital punishment. Methods included hanging, beheading, drawing and quartering, and burning at the stake. Public executions gradually declined due to changing attitudes toward justice and human rights. The abolition of public executions reflects a significant shift in legal and ethical standards. A primary driver for this change is the growing emphasis on human rights. Public executions are viewed as a violation of the condemned's dignity. Evolving societal values also play a crucial role in this legal change. Modern societies increasingly prioritize rehabilitation over retribution. The move away from public executions aligns with a more humane approach to justice. Murder is a severe crime with significant legal ramifications. Conviction for murder typically results in substantial penalties. One of the most common legal consequences is life imprisonment. Life imprisonment entails incarceration for the remainder of the offender's natural life or a very lengthy term. The exact terms and conditions of life imprisonment may vary depending on jurisdiction and specific circumstances. Dueling historically served as a method for settling disputes among gentlemen. It involved formal combat with specific rules and weapons. The practice was rooted in notions of honor and social standing. Historical depictions illustrate the dueling rituals and codes of conduct. Dueling was legally prohibited, marking a shift in societal views on conflict resolution. The act of dueling was reclassified as either assault or murder under the law. This legal change aimed to deter individuals from engaging in violent, honor-based combat. The prohibition reflects a transition towards legal and judicial systems resolving disputes. Dueling is illegal in many jurisdictions. Participation in a duel can result in legal penalties. These penalties may include imprisonment. The severity of the punishment varies depending on the jurisdiction and the outcome of the duel. Unregulated food sales lack oversight from health and safety agencies. This absence of regulation can lead to unsafe food handling practices. Potential risks include improper storage, contamination, and mislabeling. Consumers face increased exposure to foodborne illnesses and deceptive practices. Food safety regulations are implemented to safeguard public health. These regulations aim to prevent foodborne illnesses and ensure food quality. They establish standards for food production, processing, and distribution. Compliance with these regulations is essential for all food industry stakeholders. Violating food safety regulations can lead to significant penalties. Fines are a common consequence for businesses that fail to comply with safety standards. In severe cases, businesses may face temporary or permanent closure. These measures are in place to protect public health and ensure food safety. Historically, the sale of unregulated medicines posed significant public health risks. These medicines often lacked proper testing and quality control. Consumers were vulnerable to ineffective or even harmful substances. The lack of regulation contributed to widespread health concerns and ethical issues. The Medicines Act establishes a regulatory framework for medicines. A key aspect of this framework is the requirement for licensing. Licensing ensures that medicines meet certain standards of safety and efficacy. This regulation aims to protect public health by controlling the quality and availability of medicines. Selling unlicensed medicine can result in severe legal repercussions. These consequences are in place to protect public health and safety. Penalties may include substantial fines, depending on the jurisdiction and severity. Criminal charges, such as fraud or negligence, can also be filed against offenders. In cases of serious harm or death caused by the unlicensed medicine, imprisonment is a possible outcome. Regulatory bodies have the authority to seize and destroy the illegal products, preventing further distribution. Historically, toys have sometimes presented significant safety risks to children. These risks often stem from design flaws or hazardous materials used in manufacturing. The sale of such toys has led to injuries and raised concerns about product safety standards. Increased awareness and regulation have aimed to reduce the availability of dangerous toys. Continuous monitoring and testing are essential to ensure toys meet current safety requirements. Toy safety standards are introduced to minimize risks associated with toys. These standards are legally binding requirements for toy manufacturers and distributors. The regulations aim to prevent hazards such as choking, poisoning, and injuries. Compliance with these standards is typically enforced by regulatory agencies. The legal changes ensure that toys are safer for children. Selling toys that do not meet established safety standards can result in significant penalties. These penalties are designed to deter the distribution of hazardous products to children. Consequences may include substantial fines levied against manufacturers and retailers. Legal actions, such as lawsuits, can also be pursued by affected consumers or regulatory bodies. Lead paint was historically used in homes for its durability and vibrant colors. It provided a long-lasting finish that was resistant to moisture and wear. However, lead is a toxic substance that poses significant health risks, especially to children. Exposure to lead can lead to developmental problems, neurological damage, and other serious health issues. Due to these health risks, the use of lead paint has been largely restricted or banned in many countries. Lead paint was commonly used in residential properties due to its durability and vibrant colors. However, lead is a toxic substance, especially harmful to children. Exposure to lead paint can lead to serious health problems, including developmental issues and neurological damage. Therefore, many countries have implemented laws banning the use of lead paint in residential buildings. This legal change aims to protect public health by preventing lead exposure, particularly among vulnerable populations. Lead paint violations refer to the illegal use of lead-based paint in prohibited areas. These violations often involve applying lead paint in homes, schools, or other locations where it poses a health risk. Legal actions can be initiated against individuals or entities responsible for such violations. Consequences may include fines, remediation orders, and civil or criminal charges. The aim of these legal actions is to ensure the removal or containment of lead paint to protect public health. Compliance with lead paint regulations is crucial to prevent lead poisoning, particularly in children. Historically, certain dog breeds have been kept without specific restrictions. This lack of regulation has sometimes led to increased incidents involving these breeds. The historical context is important for understanding current debates about breed-specific legislation. Understanding this history helps inform responsible dog ownership and public safety measures. The Dangerous Dogs Act imposes restrictions on specific dog breeds deemed dangerous. The act aims to protect the public from dog attacks and related injuries. Certain breeds are prohibited from being bred, sold, exchanged, or given away. Owners of restricted breeds face legal responsibilities and potential penalties. These responsibilities include muzzling dogs in public and keeping them on a lead. The act has been subject to debate regarding its effectiveness and fairness. Owning prohibited dog breeds carries significant legal consequences. Failure to adequately control dangerous dogs also results in penalties. These penalties can include substantial fines. Imprisonment is a possible outcome for serious offenses. The dog in question may be seized by authorities. In some cases, the dog may be euthanized to ensure public safety. Historically, mining operations have often been associated with unsafe practices. These practices frequently disregard safety protocols and regulations. The lack of adequate safety measures leads to a high risk of accidents within mines. These accidents can result in serious injuries and fatalities among miners. Mine safety regulations are introduced to protect workers in the mining industry. These regulations aim to minimize risks associated with mining operations. Regular inspections are conducted to ensure compliance with safety standards. Inspections identify potential hazards and areas needing improvement. Enforcement of regulations helps prevent accidents and promotes a safer working environment. Violating mine safety regulations can lead to severe legal consequences. These repercussions are designed to ensure worker safety and regulatory compliance. Penalties may include significant fines levied against the mining company. In cases of negligence, individual managers or supervisors may face personal liability. Severe violations can result in temporary or permanent mine closures. Criminal charges, including imprisonment, are possible for egregious safety breaches. Historically, waste disposal practices were often unregulated, leading to widespread environmental pollution. Lack of regulation resulted in improper disposal methods, such as open dumping and uncontrolled incineration. These practices contaminated soil, water sources, and air quality. The absence of oversight allowed industries and individuals to dispose of waste without considering environmental consequences. This resulted in significant ecological damage and public health risks. The historical context of unregulated waste disposal highlights the importance of modern environmental regulations. Environmental protection laws are regulations designed to protect the natural environment. These laws aim to control pollution of air, water, and soil. They also seek to conserve natural resources, including forests and minerals. The laws establish standards and guidelines for environmental quality. Enforcement mechanisms, such as permits and inspections, ensure compliance. These regulations promote sustainable practices and reduce environmental harm. Illegal waste disposal carries significant legal consequences. These consequences aim to deter pollution and protect the environment. Penalties can include substantial fines for individuals and organizations. Repeat offenders may face increased fines and potential jail time. Legal action may also require remediation of the polluted site. Unsafe construction practices historically contribute to a high number of accidents. These practices often involve neglecting safety regulations and protocols. Inadequate training and supervision of workers are significant contributing factors. Use of faulty equipment and machinery increases the risk of on-site incidents. Failure to properly secure work areas and implement fall protection measures leads to preventable injuries. Building safety regulations are introduced to ensure structural integrity. These regulations aim to protect occupants from potential hazards. Mandatory inspections are implemented to verify compliance with safety standards. These inspections help identify and rectify potential safety issues in buildings. Violating building safety regulations can lead to legal actions. These actions are initiated to enforce compliance with safety standards. Legal consequences may include fines and penalties. Courts may order the correction of safety violations. Severe violations can result in construction bans or building closures. Unregulated fireworks refer to explosive pyrotechnic devices. These fireworks are sold and used without adhering to safety standards. The lack of regulation poses significant safety risks. Historically, the sale and use of unregulated fireworks have led to numerous injuries. New legal changes introduce specific regulations for fireworks. These regulations aim to control the use and sale of fireworks. Restrictions may include limitations on the types of fireworks allowed. The regulations also likely specify permitted times and locations for fireworks displays. Using or selling fireworks illegally can result in significant penalties. Penalties may include fines, which can vary depending on the severity of the offense. In some cases, illegal fireworks activities can lead to imprisonment. Confiscation of illegal fireworks is a common consequence. Historically, seatbelts were not a standard feature in vehicles. Early automobiles often lacked basic safety measures, including seatbelts. The absence of seatbelts meant drivers and passengers were unrestrained during collisions. This lack of restraint significantly increased the risk of severe injuries or fatalities in accidents. The widespread adoption of seatbelts as a safety standard came later, as awareness of their life-saving potential grew. Seatbelt laws mandate the use of seatbelts by vehicle occupants. These laws aim to reduce injuries and fatalities in traffic accidents. Enforcement of seatbelt laws typically involves fines for non-compliance. Increased seatbelt usage has been shown to significantly lower the risk of serious injury. Public awareness campaigns often accompany legal changes to promote seatbelt use. The implementation of seatbelt laws represents a key strategy in road safety initiatives. Failure to wear a seatbelt can result in financial penalties. These penalties typically take the form of fines. The specific amount of the fine varies by jurisdiction. Additional penalties may include points on a driving record. Accumulation of points can lead to increased insurance premiums or license suspension. Historically, laws addressing drink driving were less stringent than they are today. Early regulations often permitted higher blood alcohol content, BAC levels, for drivers. Enforcement of existing laws was also less consistent and widespread. Public awareness campaigns regarding the dangers of drink driving were limited. These factors contributed to a higher incidence of alcohol-related traffic accidents. Over time, increased awareness and stricter legislation have aimed to reduce drink driving. Drink driving laws are subject to periodic revisions and updates. These changes often involve stricter regulations regarding blood alcohol content, BAC limits. Lowering the permissible BAC aims to reduce the risk of alcohol-related accidents. Penalties for violating drink driving laws can include fines, license suspension, and imprisonment. Increased penalties serve as a deterrent against driving under the influence. The specific laws and penalties vary depending on jurisdiction.